The night was a suffocating blanket of darkness, pressing against the windows of the Langley house like a relentless intruder. Emma Langley sat alone by the flickering fire, her fingers nervously tracing the rim of her teacup. Richard should have been home hours ago. Her husband was a creature of habit, predictable to the point of boredom. He left the office at 6, arrived home by 7, and by 8 they were usually sitting down to dinner. But tonight the clock had struck midnight, and there was no sign of him. She tried calling him again, the 7th time that evening. Straight to voicemail. A knot of unease tightened in her stomach. Richard was never late, not without calling. 1,000 scenarios raced through her mind, each more terrifying than the last. Was he lying in a ditch somewhere? Had he been in an accident? Or worse, was he with someone else? Unable to sit still any longer, Emma decided to search for him herself. She grabbed her coat, the keys to her car, and stepped out into the stormy night. The rain poured down in sheets, drenching her within seconds, but she hardly noticed. Her mind was focused on one thing: finding Richard. The streets were eerily empty as she drove, her headlights slicing through the thick curtain of rain. And then a strange thought began to creep into her mind. A thought she quickly dismissed as absurd. Richard wouldn't just disappear, would he? But the thought lingered, gnawing at her as she drove into the darkness, her heart pounding louder with each passing minute. Where was Richard? And why did she feel like she was being watched? The night held its breath as Emma's search for Richard turned into a race against her own fears. What she would find or wouldn't find lurked in the shadows of the unknown. And sometimes the unknown is the most terrifying place to be.